How's it going, everybody, and welcome to my Laiatu Latu prospect breakdown. Laiatu Latu, the 6'5", 261 redshirt senior from UCLA, is my favorite edge rusher in the 2024 NFL Draft. Latu was a 3-star recruit coming out of high school that committed to Washington in 2019. And his story at Washington is just absolutely crazy. After suffering a neck injury in practice of 2022 and needing surgery, he had to medically retire from football after there were concerns that he would be paralyzed from his injury. But after 2 years later, Latu transferred to UCLA in 2022 and unretired from football. And in 2022, he did a great job coming back, had 10.5 sacks and 65 pressures, which was 5th in the FBS, as well as being PFF's 8th highest graded pass rusher, and he had a 20% pass rush win rate. And he repeated his comeback year with an even better one, being PFF's highest graded defender in all college football with a ridiculous 96.3. He had 13 sacks, 62 total pressures, and had a pass rush win rate of 62.6. He was also the highest graded pass rusher according to PFF. He had 2 forced fumbles, 2 interceptions, and a pass rushing productivity rate of 13.3%. In 2023, he also won the Ted Hendricks Award, the Lombardi Award, and was a unanimous All-American. Laiatu Latu's biggest strengths are at his hands at the point of attack and his pass rush moves. Because he has great use of hands at the point of attack, this allows his pass rush moves to be even more effective. Speaking of his pass rush moves, he might have the deepest bag for any defensive lineman in this class. While I was watching his film, I saw him go to around 10 plus different moves or combinations. He often went to moves like his chop, his club, rip and dip, swim, ghost, bull rush, etc. And he would set these pass rush moves up with crazy moves like hop stepping or faking one, then crossing the lineman's face. Latu is also a wired edge rusher. He's always trying to disrupt the quarterback in any way, like randomly jumping if he loses a rep, or is always itching to hit the quarterback. He also has good athleticism and physicality. He has good quickness, hip and ankle flexion, and twitch. He has solid acceleration and quickness off the line of scrimmage as well, and he definitely has plus athleticism. His pass rush motor is another big strength because he completely lost a few reps in the film, but they still ended up in sacks. I would also consider Latu to be the most balanced edge rusher out of this class. He is good to great in most categories and even has coverage versatility, 2 interceptions in 2023. But of course, my biggest concern for Laiatu Latu is his medical concerns. As previously stated, he did have to medically retire due to a neck injury, and it is always a concern whether it flares up or comes back again. To my knowledge, I don't think it has come back, but there is always that risk. I also think he's just an okay to good run defender. I also don't think he's the best at setting the edge as a run defender, but he is good at block shedding. He has good but not elite bend or speed off the edge, but his pass rush moves and overall athleticism do make up for that. And my only technical weakness for him as a pass rusher is that he can sometimes rush too tall, and that makes him lose power, speed, and momentum. And then my last issue is finishing tackles. He had an over 20% missed tackle rate in 2023 and 30% missed tackle rate in 2022. But with all that being said, let's get into the film. Alright, so the first game I want to talk about is the Coastal Carolina game. This was the first game UCLA played. Latu is going on a ghost rush here. Nice use of hands to swipe away the tackle's left arm, finishes through and gets the sack on the quarterback. I think Latu on this play wanted to originally go with power, but the tackle got hands within his face mask, so what he's going to do is he's going to counter with a rip, get through, and then sack the quarterback again. So look at what Latu number 15 is going to do on this play. His primary rush is going to be a jump, then swipe. Running back does a horrible job blocking, missing the chip, and Latu gets a free hit on the quarterback's ACL. And then this is a great play showing Laiatu Latu's technical ability. The stab on this play is a little high, but he's going to counter with a swipe, putting the tackle out of position, and Laiatu Latu beats him off the edge. And a little holding helps the quarterback stay in the pocket a little longer, but Latu still gets a hit on him. Alright, so this play is a very good example of Laiatu Latu's pass rush motor. So Latu originally wants to win on the outside shoulder, but his arms get interlocked with the tackle, who's also pretty much holding him. But Latu is gonna rip away, continue to work on that outside shoulder as Cameron Ward evades to the right, keeps on going, and then brings Cameron Ward down for the sack. This is the very next play where Laiatu Latu is going to force a fumble here. I'm just kind of gonna run through this because it is a screen. Latu jumps. But here is what I want to showcase. Slow it down. Latu sees that the running backs, I don't think you can see it quite on the screen. Let me reverse it a little bit. As you can see right here, ball is in his right hand. So now what Latu is going to do is you can see the punch come in, jars the ball loose, UCLA falls on it, and that's going to end up with UCLA ball with Latu being the guy who forces the fumble. Alright, so Latu, I don't know if you can quite see it. I'll move it over a little bit. Latu really loves to go with his jump his jump swipe, I would consider it. Look at on this play. Slow it down. Plants. Look at how far. Look at both feet to come off the ground. Swipes the hands. Cuts through. And now we've got a free lane to the quarterback. But of course, Cameron Ward, effective quarterback in getting out of the pocket, does slip out of it. But Latu, or I skipped a little too far. Latu loves going to that jump, hit the non-dominant shoulder for the tackle, and then get through. All right, it's going to be a little harder to see Laiatu Latu on the screen here, but he's going to be all the way far out wide. I think he's probably going to be the 7 to 8 tech here. So what Latu is going to do is, I think he's immediately looking at the offensive lineman's hands and how wide he's going to set his base. So what Latu is going to do is he's going to come in with a jump and then swim, hits Cameron Ward, and the throw is offline. Okay, so showing some film from the Arizona game, Laiatu Latu is going to set up his primary pass rush move very nicely on this play. So he's originally going to come in with a chop, then swim, beats the tackle to the outside shoulder, and affects Fafita's timing. The play ends up in an incomplete pass, and Laiatu Latu is credited with a quarterback hit. Again, here's another great example of Laiatu Latu setting up that chop pass rush move. But first, he's going to look, set up the chop with his hand, move to the swim, similar move as last time. 93 does a terrific job blocking the screen by putting his hand up, and the play ends in a sack. This play displays how much, or the ability of Laiatu Latu's bend. Now, I don't think he has like Chop Robinson levels of bend, but I do think he has, great ability with that, and he has good ankle flexion. On this play, he's going to set up effectively the ghost rush by faking his right hand into the guard. Then he swims past, and he's able to stay up with his ankle flexion, and you can see the bend around the edge, but he does only get one hand on Fafita. The sideline angle doesn't do this play justice. This will be the last play that I show from Arizona. This is the sack, or the solo sack that he had. This is up against 84. This is a tight end. Not a great ability. Sets the play up with a ghost rush, and then just brings down Fafita for the sack. I thought that USC was arguably Laiatu Latu's best game, probably outside of Coastal Carolina. They really love to line him up in the 4-eye or the 5, which is basically right on top of the tackle or on the tackle's inside shoulder. On this play, Laiatu Latu is going to win inside. There's a huge hole here. Wins with a nice little swipe move, but Caleb Williams, even with the free lane, Caleb Williams is so effective at getting out of the pocket. And on this play, Laiatu Latu, again, is going to be playing the 5 tech. On this play, he's going to go in with a chop. The help block is a little too late, so Latu gets another free lane. But Caleb Williams, once again, for the 3rd time in a row, is going to get out of it. All right, I actually had to re-record this play because I didn't play it all the way through, and I actually missed something critical. So, first, Laiatu Latu sets up the chop. The help tackle, help blocker, is too late. Laiatu Latu gets a free lane, but Caleb Williams escapes once again, and Laiatu Latu, all the way at the bottom of your screen, almost falls. But what I actually stopped the play here. What I didn't see was Laiatu Latu come back around and help finish the play and get credited with a half a sack. That's why you always got to watch your plays through. And this was Laiatu Latu's first sack on Caleb Williams. Laiatu Latu had 2 sacks in this game. I would chop this one up more as the offensive tackle disengaging his block way too early. As you can see, Latu puts his hands out and then he rips. But why did the guard disengage? Now he's just standing there alone. Caleb Williams can't see Latu coming in, and he gets a clean sack. And then for the last play of the film breakdown, once again, we're going to be talking about Laiatu Latu's motor. He doesn't win right off the bat, and he's double teamed on this play, but he's just going to keep on pushing the running back into another sack, his 2nd of the USC game. My player comparison for Laiatu Latu is going to be now Miami Dolphins edge rusher, Jalen Phillips. Phillips and Latu not only both went to UCLA and wore the same number, but they are extremely similar prospects in terms of story and ability. Both were at one point medically retired due to injury and then transferred. Phillips went to UCLA, then had to medically retire, and then unretired after transferring to Miami. And then Latu, of course, had a neck injury in practice at Washington and then transferred to UCLA. But their size is also almost identical. Phillips is 6'5", 263 pounds, and Latu is 6'5", 261 pounds. And it looks like they have similar arm length and wingspan. Both are both technically sound edge rushers with a good array of pass rush moves, and both even have a similar issue with rushing too high. But I would have considered Jaylene more of a freak athlete coming out of Miami and had better speed and been off of the line. I'm giving Laiatu Latu a 6.49 prospect grade. He's currently 11th on my 2024 big board, and he is the best edge rusher in this class. Of course, I have Latu 11th. He's right behind Talisa Fuaga. Those two players are interchangeable in my opinion. You could argue Latu is number 10. It's just that Talisa Fuaga in their head-to-head matchup in Oregon only allowed one pressure, and then in the Senior Bowl, Fuaga won the reps when they played each other. I think Latu has the potential to be a very good every down edge rusher or outside linebacker at the next level, and I think he could also be a 10-sack guy at the NFL. And I think he goes within the first 20 picks in the 2024 NFL draft. Latu has been my edge one since roughly the mid-season mark, and out of the top 3 edge rushers, Laiatu Latu, Jared Verse, and Dallas Turner, my favorite edge rusher so far has to be Latu after watching the film of all 3. But Jared Verse is very close. I currently have Verse around 12 to 13 on my big board. Latu's array of pass rush moves and hands at the point of attack really intrigue me, and that deep bag should make him very consistent on a down-to-down basis at the NFL level. He also has plus athleticism, but isn't a freak at the edge position, so that limits his ceiling a bit, but at minimum, I see him being consistent at generating some good pressure. Latu would either be my first or second defender off of the board in the 2024 NFL draft after Byron Murphy or Jared Verse, but I think guys like Jerzon Newton and Dallas Turner could be picked higher than Latu in the draft, even if I think Latu is better. But regardless, I see Latu being a top 20 pick in the 2024 NFL draft. The absolute earliest I see him going off the board is at 8 to the Falcons, but then teams like Chicago, the Broncos, the Seahawks, the Jaguars, and the Vikings can also take him in the draft. But that's going to do it for my Laiatu Latu prospect breakdown. Let me know your thoughts on this video. Make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. Follow my TikTok and my Twitter, and support my Patreon if you want access to my 2024 NFL draft board. And my full scouting report on Laiatu Latu is going to be in my Substack, link in the description. But as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.